Hey folks, welcome back to the channel, where today we will discuss the best motherboards on the market. Without further ado, let's get started. Oh, and by the way, links to all the featured products are given in the description below. Our pick for best overall is the ASRock Z490 Taichi. The ASRock Z490 Taichi is an excellent motherboard in the $350 to $400 price range for building a Z490 system, comparing favorably to the similarly rated competition. It comprises 8 SATA ports and a speedy USB 3.2 Gen 2x2 Type-C port. It also has a premium appearance and operates cooler than competing boards in the power transmission department. If you want 3 M.2 slots and 8 SATA ports, this is the sole board around this value point with that storage form. If your budget permits for an upper mid-range board, ASRock Z490 Taichi must be at the top of the list. By looks, it is an ATX motherboard with noticeable heat spreaders that cover the bulk of its surface. More of the board is shown around the CPU socket and RAM slots, but large sections nearby are coated by a pair of large heat sinks and the cooling and component bulk around the board's rear I/O shroud. During our time experimenting with the Z490 Taichi, we didn't face any operational or stability problems. Everything worked without issue, except for the questionably placed audio subsystem parts. We don't have any significant marks to strike against this motherboard, unless you have a high-grade Ethernet connection that could utilize a 5 GB per second or 10 GB per second direct conduit. Moving right along, our pick for best ATX is the Gigabyte Z390 Designer. The Z390 Designer surpasses its closest competitor in features for the cost. It has similar overclocking limits to its nearest rival, but defeats it in overclocked DRAM performance and has enough extra value to justify its premium over more budget boards. We have to consider whether the workstation replacement PC market will tolerate a board with average CPU overclocking. Created for content creators, enthusiasts, and artists, this motherboard is powered by the Intel Z390 chipset and supports 8th and 9th generation Intel processors with the LGA 1151 socket. It takes full benefit of the PCIe 3.0 data bandwidth to produce a high performance for tasks such as 3D rendering, video editing, and more. Up to 128 GB of dual-channel DDR4 RAM, reaching 4266 MHz when overclocked, can be installed across 4 memory slots. The ATX motherboard also highlights advanced cooling and supports up to 2 M.2 SSDs and 6 SATA 3 storage drives, which can be put into RAID 0, 1, 5, or 10 configurations. Its 3 PCIe 3.0 x 16 slots can include 2-way and quad GPU NVIDIA SLI, or quad GPU and 2-way or 3-way AMD Crossfire X configurations to maximize your system's graphical abilities for high frame rates, connecting to 4K and 8K monitors, and more active video rendering times. Alternatively, the built-in HDMI and 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports enable you to take advantage of combined CPU graphics. 2 extra PCIe 3.0 x 1 slots are available for cooperative expansion cards. Next on the list is our pick for best Mini-ITX, and that is the ASRock Z390 Phantom Gaming ITX. Even if you never utilize its Thunderbolt 3 port, it's hard to deny the domination of a board that does everything else more useful than the competition while costing less. The Z390 Phantom Gaming ITX-AC is even more affordable than the non-Wi-Fi version of MSI's ATX MGP Z390 Gaming Pro Carbon, though that won't matter to anyone who wants the extra DIMM and PCIe slots provided by the larger form factor. But for those looking for a Mini-ITX board to support Intel's Core i9-9900K, the Z390 Phantom Gaming ITX-AC is undoubtedly our first choice, giving it one of the best gaming motherboards you can purchase. In our experiment, the ASRock Z390 Phantom Gaming ITX worked consistently well, and it trades blows with the likewise priced Asus ROG Strix Z390-i Gaming at every avenue investigated. Power consumption figures at idle inside Windows 10 didn't prove too effective, but at full load, the Phantom Gaming ITX sized board did do great. Booting times in our non-UEFI post-time test were great, and our gaming testing showed no anomalies. With overclock testing, the Z390 Phantom Gaming ITX outshined and, apart from a very enthusiastic 5 GHz preset overclocking profile that applied our chip with 1.5 volts too much voltage on the V-core, everything looked good. ASRock has effectively set the firmware to correlate custom CPU V-core voltage fittings with setting load line calibration, or LLC, to level 1. This indicates little to no V-drop experience, with just a small variation to set and load voltages at 5 GHz and beyond. Up next is our pick for the best budget gaming, and that goes to the Gigabyte Z390 Gaming X. Level up your gaming action with the Gigabyte Z390 Gaming X LGA 1151 ATX motherboard. Created for gamers, enthusiasts, and content creators, this motherboard is powered by the Intel Z390 chipset and supports 8th and 9th generation Intel processors with the LGA 1151 socket. It takes full benefit of the PCIe 3.0 data bandwidth to present high performance for tasks such as video editing, 3D rendering, and much more. Up to 128 GB of dual-channel DDR4 RAM reaching 4266 MHz when overclocked can be installed across 4 memory slots. The ATX motherboard also highlights advanced cooling and holds up to 2 M.2 SSDs and 6 SATA 3 storage drives, which can be put into RAID 0, 1, 5, or 10 configurations. Its 2 PCIe 3.0 x16 slots can include two-way and quad GPU AMD Crossfire X configurations to extend your system's graphical abilities for high frame rates, connecting 4K monitors, and more active video rendering times. Alternatively, the built-in HDMI port enables you to take advantage of the combined CPU graphics. 4 extra PCIe 3.0 x1 slots are available alongside a Thunderbolt 3 header for cooperative expansion cards. Last on our list is the best Intel, and our pick is the Asus ROG Maximus 12 Hero. For the most reliable motherboard, for the most advanced Intel chips, you require one that brings lots of power to the table and intelligent cooling and support for a faster memory. That's why the Asus ROG Maximus 12 Hero gets our vote as the most dependable Intel motherboard for 2021. If you're considering upgrading to a 10th generation Intel Core processor, invest in this motherboard as well. With it, you're also getting AI overclocking, AI networking with Wi-Fi 6 support, and Asus's Aura Sync illumination. The Asus ROG Maximus 12 Hero Wi-Fi highlights a powerful VRM cooling solution complete with an arbitrary active cooling fan, all paired with no less than 16 power stages from Infineon. BIOS flashback has also been incorporated, as well as Asus's excellent BIOS designed to give an optimal, stress-free overclocking experience. The Asus ROG Maximus 12 Hero also gives great connectivity with not only Wi-Fi 6, but also 5 GB per second Ethernet, utilizing an Aquantia controller. All of this performance is bundled into a sleek, stylish package with excellent RGB choices for those who need more flair in their final build.
Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, then hit the like button and subscribe to our channel if you loved it. Take a moment to hit the bell icon so you'll get notified of all our latest uploads.